30-minute reviews, beware of spoilers, and exploring hyperspace lanes are all available ad-free. But if you want to support the show, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com and click the support button that's available on the Spotify website. Thank you. Good morning, and, well, not morning, evening, and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I've seen Civil War now. I mean, the movie, not, the actual Civil War. I don't have a time machine. The point is, if you listened to my and Peter's preview, review of 2023, preview of 2024, you know I had misgivings about it, and I think I've mentioned it a few times on here and on 30-minute reviews, that, there are things about this movie that kind of raised red flags for me going into it. This is not a movie that I was looking forward to seeing, because I was like, when you look at the map for, this is how the United States got divided in this fictional Civil War. It's like, okay, so Texas and California are aligned, and and Florida has its own little, section with the surrounding states, its own alliance, and I'm watching it and I'm like, alright, is this gonna be good? Is there a chance that this could be good? Because it feels apolitical, and my big thing going into it is, how do you do a movie about a civil war now that's apolitical? And that was my big issue going into this. And I think we have our answer. And I feel like an idiot for not seeing what this was going to be. And I think part of it is the marketing. The marketing definitely threw me for a loop, because the marketing made it seem like it was going to be about the Civil War, with, these war photographers being the conduit in for us to kind of experience what this is and what the political ramifications are. That's not what this is at all. It is the story of these. It's very much an anti-war, anti-extremism movie. And it's we don't have to get to this point. It's more of a cautionary tale, because it's never defined, what political party or what political affiliation is, is doing what. Predominantly the movie's about, there's been a secessionist movement where a bunch of states have seceded from the Union and are now in revolt. And, and we know that for whatever reason, we now have a third-term president, played by Nick Offerman, who is, who has gone authoritarian. And that's one of the lines. It's in the trailer, too. They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. So, therein lies the thing, where it's we don't know where on the political spectrum anyone falls on this. And looking at the map now, the map makes sense, because it's not meant to point to a right side or a wrong side. It's kind of a, guys, get your shit together movie, more than it is a let's point fingers movie. It's meant to calm temperatures more than it is to, escalate tensions. And ordinarily, I'm the kind of person who'd be well, no, fuck them. In this case, you look at it, you're well, there's no clear them. And they do a great job of, at any given opportunity, there's no point where the movie's and these are the ones who are the good guys, this is the political affiliation of the good guys, this is the political affiliation of the bad guys. And I think to that end, it's handled pretty well. Because then it becomes this grounded story, even though it is in this, fictitious civil war, it is, at its core, a civil war has to be political. So even though it's in the Civil War, and it's in and that's all going on, you never feel like you are not getting the full story, because at the end of the day, the story is about the journalists and what they're going through, and them trying to just document what goes on. what is happening in this world, and what is going on with the, within the general, what's the word for here, like within the conflict. Um, and it's about them, and that's what, Kaylee Spade, and I think she is fantastic in this movie. Like Kristen Dunst, I do really like her performance, and she's one of those people who you can trust to show up and give a great performance. But like, it really is and Wagner Moura, I think is his name, is someone who I was completely unfamiliar with before seeing this movie. That guy's electrical system's completely fucked up in his car. This is his front light is flashing, and then it's like he hit the directional and he went the wrong way, or he hit his directional the right way and he went the wrong way. Either way, he's also really great in this movie. But for me, it's like seeing her coming off of having only ever seen her in Priscilla, and then seeing her here play a completely different character and play it as well as she does. She is fantastic in this movie. Jesse Plemons has a very small role, which, I mean, if you've seen the trailer, you basically know his entire thing in the movie. Which, again, we don't know his political affiliation. Like, they don't explain that. They never lay out who he is. And I think that's the other thing, is that it's this journey to get to New York to D.C., from New York to D.C., while going through this, while going through this roundabout way, because you can't just go right into D.C. So, one of the things that works really well for it is that it gives you the time to get to know these characters and all of that. And because the movie is shot so well, and because Alex Garland does such a great job, I think he is, Men, I thought was fine, and if that's his weakest entry in his filmography, I think he's one of the strongest directors working right now, because Ex Machina is just a masterpiece of science fiction, and Annihilation is too, and for this to follow up Ex Machina and Annihilation, it's so well done. It's beautifully shot. The sound mix on this is fantastic too. The music choices are great. The idea of the the idea of the way that they play with the sounds of war is just fantastic. This is a movie that you need to see in a theater, I think, to get the full experience. I feel like a lot of these things are not going to transfer to the home viewing experience well, because this is an A24 movie that is going to end up on Max, I would say, in about 6 months. But it is going to be a Max movie. It's going to be on Max, so, strap in for that. But I think this is hands down a movie that needs to be seen in a theater. Maybe not rush out and see it in IMAX, but this is definitely a theater movie. And like I said, I was completely caught off guard by how much I appreciated the movie, in spite of the fact that, I was sitting here and I was like, well, they're not playing politics. And it's like, the fact that it doesn't play politics allows for a greater explanation for what the theme actually is, which is it's an anti-war movie. Because as you go through, it's like, there's no heroic, and that's the big thing with the score, too, is that the score drops out at places, and it's just the sound of what's going on all around you. It's beautifully done. For what this movie is, and I think that is it's one of the things, as the movie starts and as you get because I went into it with the preconceived notion, it's like, oh, this is just going to be a yay journalist, yay centrist, yay that kind of thing. But no, I think that because you never it's not like they portray the Western forces as far to one side and then the American government is far to the other. It's just you are just through the entire thing kind of you're just in the middle of this conflict, and you don't know which, it doesn't matter which side is right. At the end of the day, we know which side is right. The Western forces is the quote-unquote right side. Right is incorrect, not politically right. It's we talk about, defining right and wrong. And the minute you have a side that's okay, they're killing journalists on sight, clearly that's the wrong side. Clearly they're the bad guys. And then it's for Nick Offerman to for the end of the movie to happen the way it does. I'm not going to spoil it. I feel like it's something that's best experienced for the viewer. this is something that is, it is very well handled up until, through the end of the movie. I think that this is a movie that, for me, I didn't have it in the most recent power ranking for Best Picture contenders. I think this is a solid contender for Best Picture, going into, this year. And then again, we were talking about a relatively weak year, so far, but this is a solid contender for Best Picture for me. And I would be surprised if we end off the year and this is not in my top 10. I would be genuinely surprised about that. It is so well done on just every level. And the thing is, too, it's like, it is concise. It is, because you're sitting there, it's an hour 45, you're not sitting there and it doesn't overstay its welcome. You're not sitting here dreading, waiting for it to end. Even as you get into the final thing, the siege on DC, you're not sitting here oh, what's going on? Can we just get to the end of this? Because of how well shot it is, you handle it, you handle it so well. They handle it so well. But yeah, I would recommend this movie to anyone. And that's the beauty of it. And the thing is, too, it's as I'm watching the beginning, I talked about it a little bit, that fear of oh, it's apolitical. Because again, this is A24's biggest risk as a movie. It's their largest budget movie at $50 million. They don't want to ruffle any feathers and get half the audience to not go see it. But I think they handle it really well. Where even though it is apolitical, it is very much a, get your acts together kind of movie. But we will wrap up there for today. Our next episode will be tomorrow morning. We'll be talking about The Girls on the Bus, continuing our trip into things about journalism. And on Sunday, we'll be talking about the Fallout show on Amazon, as far as I got into that. I'm 2 episodes in right now. I might watch another 2 tonight, and then 3 the next night. So I'm thinking 7 episodes in by the time I hate these binge model shows, because it's just annoying for me to deal with. 30-minute reviews on Monday. We'll be talking about all the news out of CinemaCon. And as always, if any news breaks and I'm available around the time it breaks to do a story on it, you can go to mwpnews.com, where I'll be trying to post breaking stories as they come. It won't always happen. It has to be around 1 o'clock when it's my lunch break, at work or after work. So, yeah. Definitely. If you need a movie to see this weekend, Civil War is definitely worth your time. It is a worthwhile investment in your time to go see this movie this weekend. Because it is just, it's great. I mean, it's all around great. So we'll wrap up there for today. Until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.